Hi everyone, welcome back to Heal Thyself Podcast, and we are co-founders of Wellness Healing Circle. So we give you a holistic harmony of wellness tips from physical wellness, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So today we are talking about workplace stress and how to navigate your stress around your work. And I am Reiko, your body freedom coach, and on my left,
I'm Hong Ling, your self-care therapist and sound healer.
And I'm Crystal, your life purpose coach.
So today, let's start with Hong Ling because she is wise and she has many years of experiences in her work previously as an accountant. So can you share with us how you deal with your day-to-day stresses and what kind of stresses there are, and how did you get out of your stresses right now?
So for me, I have over 20 years of experience working in the accounting profession, and all along I have been working with MNC's company. So can you imagine how stressful is my life when I'm practically busy from every day from the beginning of the year to end of the year. So definitely if you hear from your fellow accountants friend, you will be hearing that, hey, I got no time to attend your gathering. Don't basically put it into our month end, because month end we are definitely busy. Why? Because we need to close our month end financial records so that our bosses will know how do we perform for that month. Then it's not so simple after month end already, okay? We have tax filing to do. Then on top of that, we have 1 year cycle where the auditors will come and say hello to us.
Hello.
And when the auditors come and say hello to us, it's very stressful because on top of our normal workload, we are also entertaining auditors. We got to answer their questions, help them to photostat and give them evidence that we have followed according to the accounting rules and regulations. Then on top of that, my bosses will ask me for some management reports. They will ask me like, hey, how is the trend like for the sales? Then the bosses will say, I want it tomorrow.
As all bosses say.
As all bosses say, then I will ping, because it means that I have to work a lot of OT, most probably until midnight, to crunch the numbers, to analyze the numbers so that my bosses will receive the analysis in the next morning on his desk.
Yeah, so it's not just the month-end stress, right? Day to day.
Yes, day to day I will definitely have interruptions from my colleagues, because I remember that people were coming to us for expense claim reimbursement, especially when they paid on behalf of the company. So on and off they'll pop in, hey, I still haven't received my money. Then I have to, hang on, let me check. Then the worst thing is, when I was working as the accounting manager, I have to travel because of the corporate meeting, etc. Then during that time, it's not digital, so I have to sign my check before I leave. Then when I come back, I must chiong to sign the check so that the payments will not be delayed. So these are the stresses that we have as accountants, and no wonder some people were saying that nowadays people prefer not to go to accounting line, which I can totally resonate. So throughout my whole work history, I do have burnt out, because on top of that, I'm also a yes man. So every time when my boss tell me, I will say, you do this report, I say yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. So it leads me to a lot of burnt out. And when I had burnt out, I just practically leave my job without any leave my job without any backup. So because I know that accountants, we are very highly in demand, so I can always recover then from regress, recuperate, then I will come back, and there is always a job that I can find. Yeah, so on the high side is that if I know how to manage my stress, I wouldn't have to go for all this periodic burnt out, then I don't have to spend my time, keep on wasting my time to search for a new job. So that's why now as a wellness advocate, especially about mental fitness, I realized that actually these are very simple to use, easy techniques like deep breathing. So when my colleague press me for payment, for expense reimbursement, I can take a deep breath. Then, instead of like giving back fleas to my colleagues, which in turn affect our relationship, I can take a deep breath and say, okay, this is your payment, in a more calmly, more relaxed way. So how about you?
So I do have the HR account finance department, and they are always trapped in their own box, own cubicle, and they are so tiny, and they have like the finance report, all the invoices all stacked around them, and sometimes I can't even see them, I have to see through and the piles of paper to look for them because some can be small size and wow, the piles of paper are so huge. So mostly they say don't touch me during the last 2 weeks of the month-end closing, but actually they are busy all the time because all the time they have to process a lot of finance payment and all that. So it's very stressful for them, and I realized that they also have a lot of burnout. They are so stressful and they don't have work-life balance, like they go home so overtime almost every day, especially the month-end but no work-life balance.
I only see moonlight after work, okay?
see sunlight, never see sunlight.
I see sunlight is when I'm on MC. Yeah, so for me, I have a lot of annual leave being accumulated. So there's one time whereby I can simply sell the annual leave to the company, which is good.
Oh yeah.
How about Crystal?
Yeah. So as you guys were talking, right, then it reminded me of the times in my company where they had the stacks and stacks of fold papers, and then I was like, oh, it's that time of the year again. It's audit season. So I thought that was probably the most difficult time for accountants, but I didn't know it was all year round. So it reminds me to be really grateful because I come from the creative side. So thankfully, me and my team back then, we just come. It was 9 to 6, Monday to Friday, and sometimes I think it's quite boring, it's quite routine, but I've learned to really appreciate it now. I was sharing with Reiko and Hong Ling that it's the routine is you come to work, you're energized, 7 a.m. and then when you reach 10, 11, you're waiting for the lunchtime. You're thinking of what to eat. Where's the lunch bus going? It's my favorite food court, my favorite store. What to eat, and then you have lunch with your colleagues, and then after that you come back at 1:30, 2 o'clock. It's the food coma time, and everyone is super sleepy, and everyone you can see in that food coma mode, and then work again, and then wait until 4 to 6, and then it's time to go home, go back to the happy work bus to take us back to the MRT station. So
what are your stresses at work?
I think my stresses is more dealing with the food coma and the routine of being at work.
Oh, that's your stress.
Because I think for me, because I work in creative line, so I always need to go out and take a break. I always need to walk outside and take a break. It's just natural for me. So sometimes I actually do that. And then when we were talking about workplace stresses, it reminded me that actually there was a point in time where me and my colleagues, after lunch, we will go to one person's room, and then we'll go to YouTube, and then we'll find a video on 5 to 10 minutes of stretching. Then all of us will do stretching in that room. We will take a deep breath. Yeah, we will do hand stretch. We'll do the hip stretch. Move our hips around, and then we'll all do it together. And then it was really fun. And then after the simple 5 to 10 minutes, we all felt so much more rejuvenated, more refreshed, and go back and do our work already. And be more present with our work also. So yeah, I really find that if we all kept on doing that mindfulness, that simple stretching, or even the mental fitness to focus on the parts of your body, it would be very very helpful, very helpful, and then more more productive. We're actually a lot more productive after that as well. So yeah, I think if you guys knew accounting knows about all these exercises, it might be a lot less stressful, I guess.
Yeah, but nobody talks about mindfulness, mental fitness, etc. 20 years ago. Yeah, so it's
Quite dinosaur sounding.
Yeah, it's dinosaur sounding. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do remember my time where I wasn't able to handle the workload, and like some time management couldn't manage some time well to do like certain or prioritize my work. So there's a lot of meet the deadline, there's a lot of project, I have to do a lot of paperwork for tenders and like some contracts, and I'm a 报干了 at work. So I can be a vet nurse, I can be on the ground, I can just check on the machine, making sure the operation of the hospital is function well, operates well, and just any breakdown call, vendors call. So I move around a lot. But thankfully, I'm grateful that my job is like moving around, not just like always staring at the screen, because it will be very boring for me. I need movement. I need movement to feel alive and feel re-energized. So it's also grateful, but the problem is I'm also sort of administrative. So when hospital administrative, so when you think of administrative, means a lot of administrative work, a lot of paperwork. So I couldn't balance with my operational work and also paperwork, and sometimes I have to overtime and like feel really burnt out because I have to do both. I have to prioritize the operational and also making sure my paperwork are done. So I work for semi-government, so have a lot of hierarchy. You have to do properly, then send to this manager, then still have to wait for approval. So that's a lot of stress, like the preparation of things to do in advance. So yeah, so as you say, when you do the lunch, after lunch to stretch, in the last 2 years of my work, I did with my colleague as well, my very good khaki colleague. As we, after lunch, we always have the food coma, as you say. So sometimes we just take a nap, just switch off the lights. After lunch, we just nap for half an hour. So it's actually very nice just to recharge from the day and just have a fresh new start after lunch in the afternoon. And sometimes we do like HIIT workout. So at lunch we feel faster, do the HIIT workout for maybe half an hour, 35 minutes. We have long lunch break, we can have longer lunch break. So we can have 40 minutes exercise, do HIIT, then we eat. Yeah, so that is very nice. Like we find a room for that to help us like keep our physical fit, feel lighter and stronger. So we are the champion advocate for the department. Like only 2-3 of us like together do the fitness and taking care of our health, which is very nice. So for me, the stresses is like I'm also not really aligned with like what I really think I should be doing. Like I don't feel aligned with the company purpose and what they are doing, the big picture. So I don't see myself the value coincide with the company values. So there's a mismatch. That's why I was feeling that something need to change, or I need to change the job or find new interests or find new skills, like upskill myself. That's why I go into like the personal fitness as a side hustle. Then a few years later, we are championing this, the wellness healing practitioner, because we all been through like the corporate, we've been through some stresses in our life, not just work but also personal relationship and our personal self. Stress, burnout, overwhelm, been into the dark hole and come out. So I feel that learning, we like the common people do not know about mental fitness or what tools to use when you are feeling stressed. So now we want to advocate like deep breathing. Like in the mid-afternoon, it's very common to like have our energy dip in the afternoon.
especially after lunch.
Yeah, especially after a heavy lunch food. If you eat a lot of carbs, like rice, sure you will feel very tired afterwards. So yeah, we want to advocate like deep breathing techniques. Just 10 minutes of breathing, it really helps. You do not need like coffee. Just be mindful and do the deep breathing. It's so helpful to readjust yourself, re-energize your whole spiritual body. Wow, like if I know about this like previously, it will be so much better to help me manage my work stress.
Yeah, same here. Like if I knew that I can, just practice like this mental fitness techniques like that. Maybe every 2 hours, just slow down, then relax for a short while, and then just go back to work. And I think the upside is that it's productivity. You want to be very productive, right? But who knows? Like in being very productive, you have to slow down to be very productive instead of just showing all the way, which was what I was very into. So just learning new things, and I'm really grateful to be able to learn all these new tips and techniques.
So I recall the times when I'm super busy, I'm actually glued to my desk and chair. So I even had my packet lunch eating there, and I thought I was working very hard and being productive. But I realized that not having a break, I actually end up feeling very tired. Especially at the end of the day, I just can't even move. Don't want to even move. So had I know all these mental fitness techniques, it can help to refresh me, rejuvenate me. I remember my colleagues, they always go for coffee fix to help them to keep the energy going. But I'm stuck questioning: do we need to drink coffee every day? Do we need to rely every day when there are natural ways of doing it? Alternative ways of exploring it.
Something interesting, I think ever since we start like our own mental fitness practice, right? Because I used to like need to drink coffee like every time it's lunch, but just now when we were having at the cafe, I was like, do I really need coffee? No, but to drink coffee, and then it's like it wasn't like I didn't really need to drink coffee after practicing for like a few weeks. Like it wasn't I really need it, like if I want to drink, I can just drink it. And I realized that sometimes, right, if I drink too much coffee, right, I can't sleep at night.
Yes.
It will affect me the next day. It will affect the whole cycle. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Sometimes I really enjoy my coffee, but sometimes it's like you can get through without it, but slowly.
Yeah, so same as well. Before like coffee doesn't really affect me. Like I can drink maybe in the evening, doesn't matter one. But nowadays, I don't know it's because I old now. But nowadays, I drink coffee after 3. Wow, it affects me so much. I can't sleep at night. Like I can't sleep at night like 1 a.m., 1:30, 2 a.m. So I have to like visualize myself really sinking into my bed, my body really relaxing, just to hypnotize myself to sleep because I can't sleep, and like coffee affect me so much.
Coffee studies have shown that caffeine will stay in our body for 14 hours. But besides coffee, I would like to share that when I am very stressed with my work, there's quite few things happening to me. First is that as ladies, we have the money thingy, right? So my hormonal cycles was actually being affected. So it just become up and down, very haywire. So this is how stress can really affect our hormonal and also our emotions. I remember in my previous corporate job with an American company, my parents and my loved one around me started to comment that you have become so bad-tempered. So stress can really affect our emotions, and when I don't find a healthy outlet to release all this stress, I just in turn lash it up at my loved ones. So on the hindsight is, I find that I was very selfish, but at that time I don't have the resources and I do not know how to ask for help.
It's like you're bringing your workplace stress home.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people are.
Correct. So I bring
Yes.
my work stress home. Then I don't know how to process it. I just dump it at my family, and it's very toxic.
It's very common.
Yeah.
It's like a super common thing.
Correct.
And we also like have interview with companies. Like companies came to us to talk about mental fitness, wellness, mindfulness technique that we can share. So they also share that their colleagues always bring stress home. So they want us to help them with like balancing out, just to reduce the stress at work time or manage stress, so that they can reduce bringing the stress back home and have better relationship with their family and be more connected and be more present when they go back, so they don't bring like the stressful energy back home lah.
Yeah, so it's like creating a harmonious family relationship. So there's a Chinese saying says 家和万事兴. So if you imagine you keep on dumping all this toxic energy, how can you have a harmonious family? And the other thing that affect me is insomnia. So for me, when I have a challenge that at work, I can't solve it, and my bosses can't really help me, I will spend the whole night ruminating about it. I'm not sure how many people can relate that. I suspect it's quite common. So that's why nowadays it seems that we have all these insomnia challenges, all this. So simple mental fitness techniques can help us to improve our sleep quality. So I wish I would have known that earlier last time.
Actually reminded me of this saying. It's just like a sequence, like a cycle. Like, you know, like the employee is very stressed at work and then go home, and then he go and stress his wife and kids, and the kids are stressed out, and they go to school, and then they go and stress the teacher, and the teacher is very stressed, then she go stress her husband, and the husband is the boss, then he very stressed, then go stress the employee. So it's like you know, like a whole cycle. It's like, yeah, it just reminded me
that
of
just
that.
reminds me like one person behavior like has the calming karma effect to other people, and like it connects to everyone else. It's not just the person that is closest to you, but it actually travel like your karmic energy effect. It travels out to, like just now you see the story. Wow, it can affect so many people.
So I guess
just
in
by
a sense, we're just responsible for our own stress, right? Like, okay, we are stressed, we need to breathe it out, let it out, go home, it's peaceful, you know, and then it's like everyone is peaceful, but it starts with us first, you know. We got to take the difficult decision and do the work. It's a bit difficult at first when I tried, but after a while, you know, it's a lot easier, and actually I quite enjoy it really. I was looking forward to doing it now.
Yes. So for me, what works is I start it small, so one step at a time. So for example, deep breathing. Okay, I find that it's very difficult to breathe. Like, I always have this resistance. What do you mean by breathing deeply? What do you mean by going to the, expanding your stomach? So it took me quite some time to get the hang of it. And I start off with 1 minute, but slowly I just keep on stacking up. So I stack up until like, if I do it, I feel I'm much more relaxed. So automatically I would do it. So it's not just doing it for the sake of doing it. It's doing it because I started to enjoy doing it. How about Reiko?
Yeah, so I like the deep breathing. So I like to label and recognize my breathing pattern by also touching my belly to make sure that my belly is actually expanding when I breathe in. Because a lot of people do not know how to breathe actually, and they breathe in by sucking in their stomach. Okay, just expanding the lung, but actually the stomach diaphragm area is not expanding. So it is helpful if you put your hand on the belly area just to make sure that it is expanding, and you can inhale more air down and be more oxygenated. So I like when I do that and label the breathing as breath, and just also notice that the thoughts will come. So just recognize the thoughts, or saying maybe it's like hyperachiever thoughts lah, some work to do, then go back to the breath. So it's okay to have thoughts come in. The goal is not to have no thoughts. Thought is common, because a lot of meditation, sometimes there's a confuse that meditation you should have 0 thoughts. So it's not about that. Thoughts comes is very natural, and you just want to advocate that as well. And yeah, I like the deep breathing, label the breath, and maybe other noise in my head, then go back to breath again. That is what I like.
For me, my favorite is like using like the 5 senses. So like for example, I can be quite a visual person. So like, okay, look at the mic, look at the texture, look at the color. And actually it was interesting because I tend to like just be quite absent-minded, not really notice things. But then when I really decide to focus on like the visuals, like, oh my god, there's so many things that I haven't seen before. When I really choose to focus on something, it's like, oh wow, there's like a new line there, there's a shape there, there's a texture there, there's a reflection there. Like when I start to focus in on things, it's like I realize that there are a lot of things that actually I didn't notice. So that was very helpful. And I like sounds as well, hearing different sounds.
I also like that.
The birds, the car, the sky, like your voices. Yeah, so a lot of things. And also I like to see far away. They said to relax your eyes, right? You just look far away to the far buildings or like the clouds, or what shape is the cloud, like just being present, just being more aware of just the surroundings.
Yeah, so different people relates to different kind of techniques. So there is really a range of techniques that you can try, from breathing, from senses, from touching, from hearing, from looking afar. So just practice, explore more variety of like mental fitness technique that helps you in your workplace. And for us, Wellness Healing Circle, we also help you help you be aware of different techniques that can employ during your work hours and practice it with you. So if you want to practice this, be more aware of the different techniques that you can use. It's a very sustainable, easy technique that you can use, not half an hour, but just 1-2 minutes you can use for yourself and bring back home. So you can come and DM us, email us at wellnesshealingcircle@gmail.com. Find us at our Instagram at Wellness Healing Circle as well. So we can give 1.5 hours talk to your company. If you can help us to reach out to your HR leaders or just any your company wellness advocates. Yeah, so we can come down and we can share different techniques with your company. So do drop us a message, or just if you want to know more, just chat with us. We are very, very happy and glad to be able to share more things with you.
Yes.
We are very much looking forward to working with you. So just drop us a message, and then we'll see if we are a fit, and then mindfulness all the way.
Yeah, it's really helpful because
It's been very helpful.
Yeah.
the Singapore culture is so stressed out.
Yes.
There's even news article saying that the HR team is very stressed, and yeah, we just hope to reach out to more HR teams so that they can use and practice the techniques to share with their employee as well, and to boost the creativity of the employee, to reduce stress, and just
It can also boost our work performance,
correct.
and also enhance the well-being. So when the well-being of the individual is enhanced, so imagine how we can build a thriving work culture.
Yeah, so do check us out. We hope to share more with you. And yeah, that's the end of our podcast today. See you
Thank
for the
you.
next episode.
See you.